Item 12B6, report regarding facilities maintenance and operation projects. Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. This is a monthly report from our Facilities Maintenance and Operation Department. Mr. Trevino will guide us through this month's projects, and this is for information purposes only. Mr. Trevino.
Good evening, Dr. Gonzalez, members of the board. I'm here to report on the update for our facilities maintenance and operations projects that are currently ongoing and nearing completion, and in some cases, a couple completed. On our first slide, here we have the district-wide safety fencing that was done in conjunction with the CDBG funding. That project has been completed already and is now coming up as an agenda later on this evening for final payment. Our next slide is our HVAC electrical upgrades at McAllen High School. We have 3 chillers that are already in place, as you can see in the pictures below. We've got 1 new cooling tower, three brand new chillers, and all the electrical components tied in with these new systems. The chillers are up and running. We had the startup for the first one on Saturday at noon, and the company's been working out there diligently, trying to get everything up and running, and everything is on schedule as of today. Our next slide is the Brown HVAC electrical and HVAC upgrades. On the left-hand side, you see the brand new chiller yard, which is already fully operational. We have 2 brand new chillers that went in at 160 tons apiece. And on the right side is the pumps inside the pump room over at Brown Middle School. That particular system has been up and running here for the last 2-3 weeks and is nearing substantial completion. We are pretty much going to have it substantially complete by tomorrow or the day after, and it is on schedule as well. Our next slide is the restroom partition with the restroom upgrades at the different campuses. We have that particular picture right there on the right is Lamar Academy, one of the restrooms there that is already completed. We also have Alvarez, which is ongoing, and Brown Middle School as well, along with Lamar. On our next slide, we have our science lab upgrades. Those pictures right there are the science labs under construction. Those pictures were taken probably about a week and a half ago. This is at the Achieve Early College High School at the Lincoln campus. That is a pretty much FMO is doing roughly 70 to 80% of the work on those two science labs with the design by our design team. Lamar Academy is casework is already been delivered and is ongoing. Rowe High School casework has been delivered and is being installed, with McAllen High School next, and Memorial along with the chief, which is the casework, the final piece, and countertops. Our next slide, and going back to the science labs, this is 15 science labs district-wide that we're currently working on at the same time at all 3 comprehensive high schools and Lamar and Achieve Early College High School. Our next slide is our fire alarm projects, which is also about to advertise this coming Wednesday. This Wednesday will be the first day that the advertisements will go out. We've been working with our design team on finalizing the designs and putting them out to bid. We've got 6 fire alarm replacements going out for bid here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Our next slide is our intercom replacements, which is 9 campuses that we're replacing intercoms per our replacement schedule. These 9 the designs have already been completed, and paperwork has been being submitted so that we can start advertisement on this here in the next 2 weeks to follow. They will be out for bid as well. And we've been working with our design team, with our technology department, and vetting all of our plans and specs and getting them to 100%. And that's been ongoing as well. Our next slide is our auditorium painting on the indoor for Memorial High School and Rowe High School. We have contractor on board already for Memorial High School. We will be doing some samples tomorrow for some of the administrative staff and FMO staff to take a look at Memorial High School. And we are getting the contractor for Rowe High School as well on board in the next couple of days. Our next slide is our CMP serving line replacements. These are 11 kitchen serving line upgrades. We are working in conjunction with our child nutrition program. This is a CMP funded program. We were assisting with the construction administration and the electrical upgrades that they require to be able to be fully functional. Our next slide is our hand washing sink installs that we've been working on and currently ongoing. These are hand washing stations that we are concentrating mainly around our cafeterias at all of our campuses. We are installing them with the hand sanitizer stations along with the antibacterial soap and your towel dispensers as well. And this is ongoing throughout the district. Our next slide is the bottom left is our hand sanitizer dispensers. We purchased approximately 2,500 of those. We now have one dispenser in every classroom that's been installed at the elementary level. We have all middle schools with the exception of one that have already been completed as well, and we're now moving on to the high schools that are left to do. And those were distributed, one per classroom district wide, and then depending on the general areas, that gave us the number to be installed. The next slide, right next to the dispenser, those are some of the electrostatic sprayers that we've purchased here at FMO, along with our foggers that we already had at each campus. We now have 5 extra sprayers in case we need extra help to disinfect any of our campuses or any areas. And then on the far right, we have the 3 different chemicals that we use here at FMO for all of our campuses that are in line with our end products, end chemical list provided by the EPA to battle the viruses and bacteria that is out there. And those have been used by the district for the past 8, 9, 10 years. So those are Procter & Gamble products, and we're proud to say that we're using what's on the end list provided by the EPA. Our next slide is our culinary arts building at Lincoln. Those plans are at 100% completion now. As far as the design, we're fixing to move forward and request for bids on the culinary arts program. We're anticipating putting this project out in the next couple of weeks so that we can request our pricing to come in. Our next slide is the Agricultural Learning Center, which we had bids come in last week. We will be doing the rankings of the bids that we received last week for this particular project, and we'll be presenting the information to the board in our next board meeting as far as a recommendation to move forward. Our next slide is our press box at McAllen Veterans Memorial Stadium, and the next slide is a timeline that we've put together with the design team so that we can aggressively possibly start construction as early as November, late October, early November, and have a completion date by August of 2021. And our last slide is our submitted and completed work orders, 336 and 200 by the FMO team working on the different district-wide projects. And that's all I have for my report.
Thank you, Mr. Trevino. Excellent report. Any questions from the board?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I do have a question regarding the ACs. Do I have the floor?
Trustee Sandoval, I'm sorry. I had recognized Trustee Fournier. I heard him first. I apologize.
I didn't hear him. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
I'll yield. Sam, go ahead.
No, you have the floor. Thank you.
Ruben, when we talk about the ag farm and the bids that have come in, obviously, you know, there's been a slowdown in work. Have you had a chance to review those bids? Are they coming in as expected, lower than expected, or higher than expected?
They came in within range. Tomorrow we'll be doing the initial review, and we'll know more by the end of the day tomorrow with purchasing as we're going to be starting to see the packets and what was submitted by the different contractors.
And going to the CNP, Children's Nutrition Program funds, talk to us about those lines. What are we doing to make those as efficient and as sanitary as we can?
These lines these serving lines are part of a replacement schedule that the Child Nutrition Program has, and they've continued replacing these lines every summer. These come with the new milk coolers, the serving line, electrical components, and we're bringing in the new facades and an easier way, I guess, of you know, having our kids go through 2 to 3 point of entries to get their food.
All right. Thank you, sir. I'll yield the floor.
Thank you, Trustee Fuente. Trustee Sandoval?
Thank you, sir. On the AC units, is there anything being done for how air is circulating in the schools as it pertains to COVID-19?
Currently, we're looking at different options to see what's out there, and we'll be visiting with our design and our consultants. But currently, right now, we do have fresh air that comes into our systems as part of our ASHRAE standards to comply with the current standards in every new design. But that air does get treated as it goes through our chiller systems and our air handler systems.
Okay. Thank you. In regards to the Agricultural Learning Center, is this a pretty good rendition in the photograph of what it should look like, or?
That is the exact rendition that we're looking at our goal being.
Okay.
That is everything that was on the plans.
Okay. And what's the timeline for completing that? I maybe not have heard.
The timeline that we're looking at completion right now is around the 250 to 270 days from notice to proceed, and that is what we have on our bid.
All right, sir. Thank you. Very good work. Congratulations to you and your team.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Trevino, on the science labs, what's the estimated completed time?
Estimated completed time, sir, is we're looking at, as per contractor and the delivery for the casework that is pending, we're looking at 2 to 3 weeks out.
Okay.
I'm hoping that within the next 10 to 15 days we can be completed. But if anything is still delayed, we've had several delays on some of the casework and countertops, but a lot of it has been delivered already.
We just extended the 4 days, 4 weeks, so we're coming back mid-October. Are we comfortable saying that they'll be ready by then?
Oh yeah, they should be ready by then. But our target date is our target date is 3 weeks out from now.
Okay, sir. Any other comments, questions?
I have a real quick question, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Mr. President, Ruben, good job. Congratulations on all the work. Just a couple questions. Have you been having any trouble as far as supplies and stuff for your department? I know I've talked to different people that I just go buy groceries from and stuff, and they're saying they're having trouble getting supplies. Factories and stuff are shut down. Are you running into any type of issues like that?
Currently, right now, sir, thanks to administration and their support, we were able to purchase plenty of supplies with plenty of time. We did get ahead. We ordered a lot over spring break. Right after spring break, we doubled up the supplies. Currently, right now, we have enough hand sanitizer that was already purchased that should last us a good 6 to 8 months. And we're already looking at the delivery time for another shipment that could last another additional year, being that we're moving into the hand sanitizing stations at every classroom. So we're okay right now when it comes to to any of the PPE supplies. Plus, we have all the supplies that were delivered from TEA as well, that we have in our warehouse currently.
What about with contractors that are doing work with the district as far as them getting supplies to finish jobs or anything like that? Anybody raised any concerns with you at this point?
Currently, right now, before the hurricane, no. There's slight shortage out there, but it's mostly on structural wood, shingles, things of that nature. Our two big projects, we were not affected by any of that, and we're on schedule to finish them out.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions, comments? Ruben, Ms. Benavides, excellent work. Thank you for all the great things you're doing.